Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rhyme of the Times for the week ending 2nd of March 2024. Many a Tory felt Rishi acted rightly in getting rid of a wrongly when Mr. Anderson refused bluntly to give an apology for spreading disharmony and disunity with comments about our capital city. The message to the former Tory deputy might be, seriously, get seriously, if you want to be a Tory MP. Then Rishi made a plea to the country to stop acting undemocratically in our democratic society for the sake of our security. Galloway glee with a by-election victory that might worry Rochdale's Jewry. We shall see. Gazans flee from an Israeli shooting spree with many casualties. More scrutiny for PCs resulting from Couzens' ignominy. R.I.P. Alexei Navalny. When the hammer and sickle is threatened with unrest, the hammer's used by the sicko to have it suppressed. And so each day Putin's imperialistic regime becomes more like the old Soviet machine. But on Friday afternoon in the Moscow snow, those clinging to a better Russia wouldn't let go. At the funeral of Alexei Navalny, hundreds chanted, "You weren't afraid, and neither are we." British politics this week was full of dramas, some food for thought for Sunak and Starmer. The Lee Anderson controversy carried on from last week. The former Tory deputy chair had slighted Sadiq. With the London Mayor Khan, he was slightly irate for giving our capital away to his mates. He conceded his language had not been the greatest, but he said it wasn't Islamophobic or racist. The PM agreed, but said Lee had still been wrong. In the current climate, such words don't belong. In these troubled times, we need language that calms, not inflammatory statements to divide and harm. But, like Braverman, Anderson appears to be sure that Islamic zealots are within our shores, and now they're infiltrating our way of life, causing disharmony and social strife. Perhaps less based on facts, more intuition that Powell's rivers of blood are coming to fruition. But simply by voicing such premonitions, the seeds are sown for societal divisions. We need unification, reconciliation. Who can provide our country's salvation? A name that would definitely not be on the list would be someone who's a smooth-talking self-publicist, a political chameleon for nearly 40 years from the Labour Party thrown out on his ear. But on Thursday, back from the dead came Galloway. Gaza George is back in the political fray. Discord won't be healed by an Islamophile who won the Rochdale by-election by a mile. For his Workers' Party, the jury will be out, while the Rochdale Jewry won't be out and about. George might claim he has no anti-Semitic views, but an anti-Zionist is no friend of the Jews. And as he passed across the finishing line, with Labour and Conservative way behind, his first words of victory were an ominous sign to send shivers down many a Jewish spine, a declaration of support for Palestine. For residents of Rochdale, will he find any time? And in a cheeky swipe at his rivals he decried, the two main parties are cheeks of the same backside. And for their stance on Gaza, he'd had them spanked. That's why their share of the vote had tanked. George would not have been charmed and probably thought charming when Rishi said his win was beyond alarming. Ironically, Sunak said this while addressing the issue of anti-democratic expression. From the steps of Number 10 on Friday night, he'd decided to display some pre-election bite, adding to his comments a few days before about disunity caused here by the Gaza war. Like a headmaster using a tone slightly schooly, he told the country how we'd become too unruly. Violent extremism would no more be tolerated, nor politicians being intimidated. Not quite Churchill, but a call to come together from a Prime Minister at the end of his tether. And on the subject of the Middle East, this week some conciliatory talk at least. In fact, during Ramadan there is a possibility of the temporary ceasing of hostilities. But on Thursday such hope began to subside when over 100 Palestinians died. Israelis opened fire on a crowd, it seems, on a road near Gaza City in dreadful scenes. Swarms of people tried to access the aid that was on trucks in a 30-strong cavalcade. And soon the finger-pointing was out of control. Did bullets or a stampede cause the death toll? Sunak called the killer of Sarah Everard a prolific sex offender with a warrant card. On Thursday, the report on Wayne Couzens was released, piling more pressure on the Met Police. Lady Angiolini's report was a bit déjà vu. Recent stories of bad bobbies are nothing new. But the report's conclusions were still a jaw-dropper. Wayne Couzens should never have been a copper. His efforts to join the force would have come a cropper if background checks had been deeper and proper. Yet again the force is red-faced and in disgrace, and we want to know how we got to this place. As the Met Chief Rowley outlined what needs to be done, most listening got the feeling we were back to square one. Out of a gloomy week came a ray of light. After 7 dire days, musical respite. With the Brits Awards held on Saturday night, for nearly a decade, Ray's light has shone bright. At the O2 Arena it was quite a sight to see her receive her awards with tears of delight, and a hint at how she had had to fight against the music industry to earn the right for her true achievements to see daylight. So on Saturday night she was high as a kite. 6 Brit Awards made hers a record-breaking night. Quite.